To proceed, my dear respected brothers and sisters, before every form of worship, there are introductory a'mal. And after every form of worship, there too are concluding a'mal. We know that after every obligatory salah, there are certain adhkar that we recite. And they are what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam wants us to think of. They are what mindset we should be adopting, what we should be thinking about, and what should be going through our minds at that point. Now, salah is the king of all worship. It has a bit of everything. It has takbir and tasbih and tilawah of Qur'an, and it has salah upon the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And as the ulama, they have said that salah has a bit of zakah and a bit of hajj and a bit of jihad and a bit of sadaqah. It has a bit of everything. Now salah is the leader and all other worship follows it. As we know in the hadith of Mu'adh radiallahu anh, in which he said that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, you are going to a people in Yemen, that is, from Ahlul Kitab. So command them to testify that there is no God except Allah and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. So the shahadatain, the first thing they are commanded to observe after confessing the testimony of faith is to observe their salah. And then if they observe their salah, then command them that there is a zakah, a sadaqah that Allah has mandated upon the rich to give back to the poor. Now everything, dear respected brothers and sisters, has a fruit. And what it achieves in the end is its fruit. An apple tree, its fruit is not the seed, it's not the trunk, it's not the branch. The fruit is the apple, the end result. The summary of all worship. The summary of all worship is found in salah, and the summary of salah is its end, its result, its fruit. And what is its fruit? Its fruit is salam, is peace. That we conclude our salah with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We are sending salam upon all of the creation, right and left, upon everyone. The seed is planted, watered, and the plant is cultivated for the fruit of the labor to appear. The conclusion of the salah should be salam. But the conclusion of salah is not the labor put in. The result, if you labor to produce an apple tree, then without an apple in the end, then the labor has gone to waste. And likewise, if the salam, if peace is not established as a conclusion, as a fruit of your salah, then the labor that you put in, the effort that you exerted has gone into vain. Because its fruit was qabool, and qabool is through salam, through peace. So what then is peace? Peace is that no harm comes from you. It is that people are safe from any harm touching them from you. As the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, Al-Muslimu man salima an-nasu min lisanihi wa yadihi. The Muslim is the one from whose tongue and hand the people are safe. And many people want to do tazkiyah. Many people want to become better Muslims, become religious Muslims, get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But most people don't know where to start. And so they say, maybe I should learn Arabic. Maybe I should learn more Qur'an. Maybe I should memorize some hadith. Maybe I should study fiqh and tafsir and the sciences. But you don't need to study in order to know that lying is haram. You don't need to study to know that backbiting is haram. You don't need to study that to know that corruption and fraud is haram. The solution, dear brothers and sisters, is summarized in one word. Salam. Peace. And that is what we're talking about, this point. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he referred Abu Dharr radiallahu anh to two qualities which are traits which bring people the most amount of peace, the highest level a'mal, after the obligatory deeds, after obligatory salah and obligatory fast and all of the obligations. Where he said to him, shall I not inform you, أَلَا أَدُلُّكَ عَلَى خَصْلَتَيْنِ هُمَا أَخَفُّ عَلَى الظَّهْرِ وَأَثْقَلُ فِي الْمِيزَانِ مِنْ غَيْرِهِمَا. Shall I not guide you and inform you of two qualities which are light on the back, meaning they're easy to do, everyone can do them. وَأَثْقَلُ فِي الْمِيزَانِ مِنْ غَيْرِهِمَا. And they are heavier on the scales than any other deed. Any other deed, recitation of Qur'an, tahajjud, taraweeh, voluntary sadaqah, volunteering in the masjid, any other deed. And they are husnul khuluq, to observe good character and long periods of silence. فَوَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ مَا عَمِلَ الْخَلَائِقُ بِمِثْلِهِمَا. By the one in whose hands is Muhammad's spirit, the creation cannot match these two. And so long periods of silence is that when your anger, when your ego is stirring you, that you remain silent. If a person can't perform many voluntary deeds, many nafl acts of worship, still wants to go to Jannah, still is afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wrath and the hereafter, then just hold on to your tongue. No one needs to be a high level scholar in order to accomplish this. Only speak when there is benefit, because 90% of the problems that occur between people are due to what their tongues have produced, what their tongues have uttered and spoken. Whether it be between spouses or work colleagues or acquaintances, on social media or in real life. It is because of what the tongues produce. And husnul khuluq, good character, is to have good behavior and a good attitude, to bring peace to people, to bring happiness to people, to bring tranquility to people. These are the actual fruits of salah, that you wish good for the creation. Because in your salah you have connected with As-Salam, Jalla Jalaluh. He is the peace. He is peace, and He is the source of peace. And so the one who has connected with Him should at least have benefited, must have gained something from this engagement, from this connection, and so must spread peace to all those around him. Or at least to not cause chaos. At least to not cause mischief. Mischief in people's lives, in people's marriages, in people's business, in people's work relationships. To not go around. If you cannot spread peace, then at least withhold your harm. Withhold your harm. Now, many outwardly religious people, whether they grow a beard or wear a hijab in the case of our sisters, many people's faces, they do not emit peace. Many people, their countenance does not emanate anything but evil and anger and spite towards others. And that is an indication that they're in their worship, regardless of how much their worship is, that their worship was not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it was to fuel an ego. Just as shaitan did. Nobody worshipped Allah like the shaitan did in terms of quantity. But he fueled his ego until it became so bold that he thought that he could take on Adam alayhi salam, and in fact challenged and rebelled against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sadaqah and zakah are very much the same. And people may ask, what does zakah have to do with these two qualities? Silence and good character. Well, the Qur'an outlines something only when people do not observe it unless they are instructed to. And so what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us explicitly, because it needed to be mentioned? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tubtilu sadaqatikum bil manni wal adha. Oh, you who have believed, do not invalidate, do not nullify, don't make void, don't spoil your charity, your sadaqah, bil manni wal adha, with reminders and with injury, with harm. Your sadaqah will become null and void, no ajr, no reward, if you cause harm to people through your tongue, if you cause harm to people through your actions. That you remind people of the favors. Didn't I give you this? And remember when I helped you on this occasion when I did. The objective is to help people, not to taunt people, not to verbally torture people. And other injury is physical torture, that you exploit people's need from getting from them what you want. You exploit their need by getting free labor from them. To say to them, because this is what most people intend through giving, unless they observe the secret behind giving, which is to bring peace and comfort to people, not just to alleviate their financial hardship. And so most people want control through what they give. I am in charge of your salary. I am in charge of your boss's boss. And so your salary comes from me. This is what is said, but what is hidden, what is actually intended. Do free work in my house, or else I may make your life miserable and make your work life difficult for you. Come to this function and do for me what I tell you, or I will make your life difficult for you. The purpose of all worship, dear brothers and sisters, is to instill these two qualities of silence and good manners and good character in order to bring peace to people. Similarly, Hajj. You see, we spoke about Salah and we spoke about Zakah and Sadaqah. These are means. They are not the objective. The objective is not to stand. The objective is not to do ruku'. The objective is not to do sujood. These are not objectives. These are wasa'il, they are asbab, they are means. But they are divinely mandated means. It's not for anybody to say, well then I'll skip these means and I will introduce my own means. No, these are divinely mandated means in order to achieve the fruit, which is salam. And so look at Hajj as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Hajj the means for forgiveness and for expiation of sins through not just performing the physical rituals of Hajj, but rather Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has attached the reward to the tongue and the character, meaning the use of the words that you produce and the actions you perform. As Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as saying, "Man hajja falam yarfuth walam yafsuq raja'a ka yawmi waladathu ummu, aw raja'a kama waladathu ummu." Whoever performs Hajj and does not perform Rafath, and Rafath has been incorrectly limited to one meaning sometimes, which is sexual intercourse. The meaning is much broader than this, dear brothers and sisters, as Ibn Hajar he has said in agreement with Al-Qurtubi and others, that Rafath is all vile, all obscene, all foul speech, and included in that is any sexual intercourse. But it is a broader meaning because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger have mandated the conditions of Hajj. Why would then they mention something in addition to it and then repeat it again? And the Shari', the legislator, is munazzah anil abath. He is free and exalted upon repetition, and repetition is superfluous speech, and that is above the Creator Jalla Jalaluh and His Messenger do not speak superfluously. They don't speak and repeat words for no reason. So Rafath over here is vile speech. Walam yafsuq, and does not perform fisq, and fisq is al-khuruj an al-ta'a. It is to rebel, it is to depart from obedience, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described Shaitan, فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. He departed from the obedience of his Lord when he didn't prostrate to Adam. So whoever performs Hajj and does not basically argue, he doesn't speak and say any foul words, and does not rebel and does not depart out of the obedience of Allah, meaning his actions are also peaceful actions, then he returns like the day his mother gave birth to him. This too is the fruit of Hajj, peace for everyone. And so a person can check, just as you check if you're losing weight, you get on the scales. Just as you want to check if your fortune is increasing, you check your bank balance. There is a criteria also to knowing whether your deeds are accepted or not. Check these two qualities. Am I observing long periods of silence? Am I acting with a good character? Am I bringing people peace? And this too, Salaam, peace, is the fruit of fasting. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said in hadith we have repeated and we will continue to repeat, مَنْ لَمْ يَدَعْ قَوْلَ الزُّورِ وَالْعَمَلَ بِهِ فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ فِي أَنْ يَدَعَ طَعَامَهُ وَشَرَابَهُ. Whoever does not abandon lies and false conduct, Allah is in no need that he abstain from his food and drink. Again, things that you should be doing in order to check whether your fast is an accepted fast. Are you bringing people peace? Are you abusing people with your tongue? Are you abusing people with your actions or not? The emphasis has always been on the tongue and the organs of the body, the eyes and the ears and the hands and the stomach and the feet and the genitals. The emphasis has always been on these, and the emphasis has never been on just go hungry and thirsty. These are the means, dear respected brothers and sisters, to the fruit. And the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, he continued to say, fasting is a protection, as-sawmu junnah. So when you are fasting, do not speak obscenely or behave foolishly. Again, the instructions are concerning the tongue and concerning one's character. You see, how many times are we told that fasting is that you observe an intention before dawn, and that you delay your suhoor, and then you hasten your iftar. And people, all they talk about is the fiqh of siyam. Whereas the fiqh is a means, dear respected brothers and sisters, to the fruit. What is the thamara? What is the result at the end that you should be benefiting from? That you are bringing people peace, and yourself, of course, peace. So no matter whether it is salah or no matter whether it is fasting, the purpose is one. It is salam, it is peace. Conversely, dear respected brothers and sisters, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hate? He hates that a person is quarrelsome, that a person is argumentative, that a person harms others, that a person, in the hadith in which the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, 3 are most hated by Allah: a person who wishes to spill the blood of another without any due right, and a person who wishes to introduce the acts of jahiliyyah into Islam. That you take your daughter, you take your wife's inheritance, you take your sister's inheritance, the actions of jahiliyyah, and you introduce them into Islam, and then you mask this oppression and dhulm with a veneer of religiosity. And also, as the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, "Inna abghad al-rijali ila Allah al-alad al-khasim." The most hated person in the sight of Allah is the most quarrelsome person. Even within the month of Ramadan, we are still incapable of withholding the evil from our tongues. We still want to argue. We still want to quarrel. We still want to dispute with one another. Is it 8 rak'at or is it 20 rak'at? Am I entitled to this place? I'm going to leave my jacket over here and go to do wudu for an hour and then come back and expect my spot to be reserved for me. Arguments after arguments. What are you wearing? What are you saying? What are you doing? What did you mean by this? Argumentation and quarrel and a quarrelsome nature. These two qualities are not loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In a nutshell, dear brothers and sisters, any worship that you perform, you must at least know what you're aiming for with that worship, or else we all fall into the trap of having a false perception of ourselves. I'm good, I'm fine, and the problem is with everybody else. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the ability to withhold our tongues from harming others. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to restrain our bodies from inflicting any harm onto people. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على الحبيب المصطفى وبعد. Dear brothers and sisters, who will show you and who will let you know whether you possess these two qualities which bring peace to people? Who will inform you whether you are a person who observes long periods of silence and has a good character? We are not our own judges. A driving instructor will tell you of blind spots. This is your blind spot and that is your blind spot. Meaning you can't see this place. You need others to tell you what is there. And so those who can inform us of our blind spots, because we cannot judge ourselves. I'm good, no. To attribute goodness to yourself is a blind spot. And so who can tell you whether you possess these qualities or not? They are the mirrors in your life. Your wife is a mirror. Your brothers and sisters are mirrors. Your family, your neighbors, your colleagues, these are all mirrors in your life. They inform you. They are all mirrors which offer a glimpse of your reality. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, أكمل المؤمنين إيمانا أحسنهم خلقا. The most perfect and complete believers are those with the best character, the best manners, the best behavior. وخياركم لنسائهم خلقا. And the best of you are the best in behavior to their women. So your wife, dear brother, your wife is a very good judge of your character. Ask the mirror close to you. Don't ask a mirror far from you. A person who lives in another city, in another country. And of course, they only know one dimension. And so they will speak well of you. This person is good, that person is good. But they don't know your reality. Ask the mirror close to you. And when you smash the mirror because you don't like what you see, then this is the most foolish thing you could do. This is like standing in the mirror and seeing blemishes and spots on your face. And then because you don't like what you have seen, you break the mirror. Very similarly, when people highlight to us our flaws, our problems, yes, what do? We turn on them and we say, no, there's no problem with me. The problem is with you. But listen to the hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. الْمُؤْمِنُ مِرْآةُ أَخِيهِ إِذَا رَأَى فِيهَا عَيْبًا أَصْلَحَهُ. The believer is the mirror of his brother. If he sees a fault in it, he corrects it. Yes, but of course that correction should be consensual. You see, a doctor does not see you on the street and then remedy you and treat you without your permission. We go to the doctor. And so do not offer advice if you have not been asked for it. Because that is not the correct way of giving da'wah. That is not the correct way of correcting one another. Ask the people close to you. Is my tongue peaceful? Are my actions peaceful? The person with whom, the person whom others witness to their goodness, this is a person who actually possesses these characters. But if you say, I'm good, then you have fallen into the same sin which Iblis performed when he said, Ana khayr, I'm good. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not make us angry at the people who highlight to us our faults, but make us angry at our nafs, which has led us to this, and our own selves for obeying our nafs and the shaitan. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to rid us of the evils of our tongues and character, and to make us a source of peace for all those around us. هذا وصلوا وسلموا على خير الأنام فإن الله أمركم بأمر بدأ به بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه ثم بكم أيها المؤمنون فقال جل من قائل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين وأعلي بفضلك كلمتي الحق والدين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقم الصلاة